And what do you think Drake's at right now? Like, what should be if you were, I don't know if you think and strategize on what rappers should do, but Drake is in interesting place. If you ask me, I've talked to him. He doesn't see a difference, right? So you have to realize he was the most streamed rapper by like 20 million. Most streamed rapper by like, I think almost like 200 million like streams. Last month, the month before, he's still number one by the metrics. Even though I think there's a cultural conversation happening. But when you're that high up, do you really care, or how much do you get tapped into that? What do you think Drake needs to do?
Well, the question is Drake still trying to maintain that number one spot? Or has he accepted that he's now more of a legacy artist?
Oh, no.
He has his catalog and he's happy with that.
Hell no. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think two artists, I've watched them. I think they've lived their lives off of it. I watch every single artist in the game kind of change and mature and evolve. I've watched Wayne realize, like, you know what? I'm gonna fall back and do it gracefully. I see Jay, I think he was trying to punch for a bit, and then he was like, you know what? Hey, I'm a boss anyway. I'm good. We've seen it with every person. Drake and Nicki, I feel like they are still, like, Nicki still has that vitriol and venom. Anytime the fans even say, hey, this new girl could be number one, she's like, what? Like, she's still...
Well, you could act that way, but that's not the reality.
But right? you could tell, like, she's, for example, like, even this year, she's like, yeah, I sold 200. These other bitches scared to drop. They're flopping. She's still like, let me throw it in y'all faces that I'm number one, because she cares about, she doesn't want to be seen as a legacy. Yeah. Right? Drake.
But it's not up to you.
Well,
right?
But
you could
also
not want to be seen. And obviously she has a big fan base. I mean, she's extended her tour and she has a bunch of sold out dates nationally and internationally. You're not going to doubt what she's already done, but when you look at the most important female rappers right now, I don't think you would say Nicki is one of them. I think you would say Lotto. I think you would say Glorilla. I think you would say Megan. I think these are the girls that are really like that the younger fans are gravitating towards. I don't think young girls are gravitating towards Nicki. I think they're gravitating towards Lotto.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I met like a 20-year-old who's like a barb. I was shocked.
I mean, there's gonna be lots of barbs. Like, I get it, but she's like almost 40, right? Or she's in her 40s.
Yeah.
She's in her 40s.
She's like 39.
Yeah, so she's about 40.
I only bring that up because it, like, as you asked the question about Drake, it's about being graceful, right? It's like knowing when to turn to the OG, and also knowing that you did everything as the guy that had your moment, that you kind of transitioned to being the boss and the OG, and you're still the guy, just in different ways, but you don't need to be that guy, right? And some people have a hard time letting that go. I think Drake has done, like, he has this one line, he says, he says his favorite thing is playing Keep Away with the Throne. I think Drake genuinely does not want to not be number one. And I think that's why he hasn't taken his foot off the gas. Like, the dude was about to go on vacation. Like, I talked to him right after the tour. He's like, yeah, man, he did 80 dates. He grossed $320 million. The next highest hip hop grossing tour is 120. 3 times the next biggest hip hop tour.
So he outdid 50 Cent?
Yes, 50's third.
Okay.
So with Travis is about to be second, so 50's about to be fourth.
Yeah.
So we have Drake 320, Kendrick 120, then 50 like one. You see the 96 like one something, and then you have Travis Scott, but his tour isn't like complete yet.
I mean, do you think that Drake could pull the type of crowd that Travis pulled in Brazil, 150,000?
Oh, he could.
He could.
Of course he could. Huh. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just don't think Drake's show is like that. Like, I've been to a bunch of.
He doesn't have the energy of a Travis Scott.
Yeah, his music is more of a.
Travis is more pyrotechnics, rage out.
Every time I've been to a Drake show, it feels like a big club.
Huh, yeah.
Everybody in there vibing, hands around each other. You're rapping to the person sitting next to you. It's not like you're just watching in awe. Like, I went to a Travis Scott show and I was like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're like watching a show. Yeah. Like, I'm at Drake's show and I see people not even looking at Drake. They're just like, they love the catalog so much, they're just rapping to their friend. Like, I see people, like, he'll perform a song, someone does one verse, so it's, and by the way, there's a place for that too. But when you see what Travis Scott is doing, like, he's turned this whole idea of the rodeo into like this fucking, like, you have to remember, even when he used to sell out venues of like 5,000, he used to have this wild, what I mean wild type of concert. He marketed as "Could You Survive?"
Yeah,
which obviously came back to bite him because yes,
people didn't survive that one show. Yeah,
but like, I think he's the only hip hop artist that do that.
Yeah, because he's more of like a punk rock rapper.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah. So,
right?
but as it goes towards like number one and like staying as a guy, I don't think Drake has any. I think if there's ever a dethroning moment, I think he'll never go gracefully. You're gonna have to fucking pry his rigor mortis hands off of the fucking throne or off of the trophy.
I mean, look, you could say that, but at one point, the audience is going to move on. This is going to be your dad's music. How many teenagers really check for Jay-Z these days? None. Now, if he dropped an album, his core fans would fuck with it. And I think, the newer people would listen to it just to see what their dad likes about this guy so much. But every day a Jay-Z fan dies and a new one doesn't necessarily, pop up, right? So you just got to look at that. I mean, and I've talked about this before. If you look at any artist of any genre, rap, rock, country, techno, pop, their greatest work is always done in their 20s and 30s. Every so often, like a George Clinton will do Atomic Dog when he's 41. There's a little bit of wiggle room at the end if someone just comes up with a crazy hit. Yeah, Tina Turner kind of got into a stride later on in life, but she was also a beast when she was younger. Yeah. But as a whole, your greatest work is in your 20s and 30s. So by the time you hit your 40s, you're on your way out. Now, people could change it, but Drake is like almost 40, right?
I believe he's like 37, 38.
Yeah. He's getting to the point where he only has a couple more years to come up with something really definitive that could potentially stand over what he's already done. People still come up with stuff that sells, but their greatest work is always in their 20s and 30s. And it's not just rap. It's any form of music.
The reason why I said about Nicki and Drake, and obviously, again, Drake's my favorite, but I don't see there's a goal. Like, usually after you've ran the game for a while and you're getting older, you start having like these tangible goals. I could see that Jay's goal after he tried his hand at label owning with Rockefeller. I seen him try to do the Rock Nation thing, and I seen him try to do the title thing. He clearly had a few things that were like almost exit strategies where it was going to be his next passion. Yeah. And for Drake, I don't necessarily see it. I think I see Drake as just being the person to say, I just kind of want to make more money than I did last year.
Well, yeah. I think also the amount of money that Drake made is way more than what Jay-Z made at the same age.
Of course.
Drake at 37 was probably 100 times richer than Jay-Z at 37. That makes a difference. Because look, like, we all slow down to a certain degree. We all get a little less hungry. Like, waking up in a mansion is a lot different than waking up in my studio apartment in the hood. Like, yeah, you go hard and you want to create quality, but you're not as hungry as the guy that's still struggling and still trying to make it. And that's where the greatest art gets created most times. Drake is rich. He's wealthy. Think about it. What could Drake not buy right now?
Nothing.
He's got planes. He's got his own plane. not a small plane, a big 747 looking plane.
Yeah, 737, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's into yachts, but if he wanted to buy a super yacht, he could.
Yeah, I heard he's building like an enormous, like gigantic place in Turks.
Right. I mean, he's got massive mansions in Toronto, and then he bought that huge thing in Texas.
Yeah, his house in Toronto. I remember one time the builder, Ferris Fowley. I might be
I read about
his name. So he had bought the plot, the lot for like $8 billion. So I remember I was like, hey, I put up like, hey, this is Drake's new $8 million house because I'm going off what he bought the lot for. Yeah. The guy hits me and says, yo, this house is appraised for $100 million. Please correct that. The builder said that. And I was like, damn. I mean, he is living a lifestyle that maybe he still has to generate a lot of revenue.
No, he doesn't.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think Drake could go broke in this lifetime or the next lifetime or the lifetime after that. I think because look, it's not like his money's sitting in a checking account. It's invested. It's invested in stocks, I'm sure. I mean, he has pieces of other companies. He's got productions. I mean, he's on all types of albums, like Rihanna albums that continue to generate money.
I heard he gets $90 million for like online gambling.
Yeah.
A year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To just sit there and say, I'm betting on this. Probably not even his own money. So there's nothing that Drake could really not buy right now.
What do you think his passions is then?
I mean, I think music is his passion. I think, being the hot rapper is his passion. But, like, it's, Kendrick showed that it could slip away from you. And
I don't think it slipped. I just think that Kendrick made him uncool. Yeah. For the like that they not like us record is again really defined.